Hi everybody, this is Emily from Life Enrichment here to do another trivia video. Alright, so because we have Passover coming up soon, and also Easter, I decided for this video we're going to do a Passover/Easter edition of Trivia with Emily. So first what we'll do is go over the answers from the last trivia video, and then we'll get into our questions for this video. Alright, so our first question from the last video was our history question. And the question was, who is known as the father of quantum physics? And the answer was Max Planck. He was a German physicist, and he's now known as the father of quantum physics. Our second question was our music question, and the question was, who sang with Paul McCartney on the song Say, Say, Say? And the answer was Michael Jackson. Fun fact, if you didn't know this, Michael Jackson actually bought all the music rights for all the Beatles music, so he makes money whenever the Beatles make money. Alright, our next question was our science question, and the question was, what is helminthology? And the answer is the study of parasitic worms. Parasitic worms. Question number 4 was our movie question, and the question was, which Bette Davis film has the line, "Fasten your seatbelts, it's gonna be a bumpy night"? And the answer was the film All About Eve. Question number 5 was our animal question. And the question was, which bird lays only one egg a year? And the answer was the albatross. Alright, moving on. Question number 6 was, what river runs through the city of Vienna? And the answer was the Danube River. Question number 7 was our literature question. And the question was, which Shakespearean play inspired the film Forbidden Planets? And the answer was The Tempest. Question number 8 was our sports question. And the question was, people compete at the tennis cup in which sport? And the answer was badminton. Question number 9 was our television question. And the question was, in the television show Dallas, which character shot JR? And the character that shot JR was Kristen Shepherd. And our final question from the last video, what was Walt Disney's last film? What was the film that Walt Disney last worked on? And the answer was The Jungle Book. Alright folks, now I'm going to give you a minute or two to get some pen and paper together, or whatever you'd like to write with. And I'll let you have some time so you can get that together before we start our questions from today. All right. Hopefully you've had enough time to get some pen and paper together. If not, I will go over all the questions at the end of the video. So if you miss one or two, again, I'm going to go over all of them at the end. All right, so let's get started. Our first question is a Passover question. And the question is, where is the world's largest Passover Seder held yearly? Now, the Passover Seder is a meal that Jews celebrate every year to celebrate the end of Passover. And there's a certain location where the largest celebration is held, and there's about 2,000 people that gather here yearly in order to celebrate the Seder. And I'll give you a minute to think of that one. Alrighty, let's move on to our next question. Our next question is an Easter question. And the question is, how many of the 50 states in the U.S. acknowledge Good Friday as a national holiday? Now, this was interesting when I learned this. This was something I had not previously known. How many of the 50 states acknowledge Good Friday as a national holiday? All right, let's move on to our next question. Our next question is another Passover question. And the question is, which soft drink company makes a special kosher batch for Passover each year? It's made with real sugar instead of corn syrup. Which soft drink company makes a special kosher batch each year for Passover, made with real sugar instead of corn syrup? And I'll give you a minute to think of that one. All right, let's move on to our next question, which is another Easter question. And the question is, which famous composer introduced the Easter bonnet to Americans in 1933? So originally the Easter bonnet was an English tradition, but there was a famous composer that wrote about the Easter bonnet and therefore introduced it to Americans in 1933. And I'll give you a second to think of that one. All right, let's move on to our next question. Our next question is a Passover question. Jewish communities collect funds for those in need every year before Passover, which they refer to as Mayot Shittim. What does Mayot Shittim mean? And I'll give you a minute to think of that one. What does Mayot Shittim mean? All right, we're going to move on to our next question. Our next question is an Easter question. During medieval times, the priest would throw an object to the choir boys, who would then pass it around to each other until the clock struck 12. Whoever was holding it at that time would get to keep it as a prize. What was the object? Now this is something that I never learned about, but I was quite interested when I learned about it, so I wanted to share it with you all today. So during medieval times, during the Easter Mass, the priest would take an object and throw it to one of the choir boys, and he would then pass it around to the other choir boys until the clock struck 12. At that time, whoever was holding it got to keep it as a prize. Now, what was the object? right, let's move on to our next question. Our next question is a Passover question. And the question is, what is the name of the book that contains the story of Passover, read every year at the Seder? What is the name of the book that's read every year at the Passover Seder? And I'll tell you another fun fact. The coffee company Maxwell House has actually produced over 50 million of these books. And I'll give you a minute to think of that one. All right, let's move on to our next question, which is, of course, another Easter question. And the question is, which president hosted the first White House Easter egg roll in the year 1878? Which president hosted the first White House Easter egg roll in 1878? All right, let's move on to the next question. Now, this is our last Passover question, and the question is, which book of the Bible contains the story of Passover? Which book of the Bible contains the story of Passover? And I'll give you a minute to think of that one. All right, let's move on to our next question, And our last question. All right, our last Easter question. The Anglo-Saxon festival of Easter inspired many Easter traditions, such as the Easter egg. Now, what does the egg represent? So back when Christian missionaries were traveling to other parts of Europe, they decided to adopt some pagan traditions, including Anglo-Saxon traditions, in order to appeal to them to convert to Christianity. So they got some ideas from the Anglo-Saxon festival of Easter, which was celebrating the coming of spring. And the Easter festival had the Easter egg, which is where we got that from. Now, what did the egg represent? All right. So that was all of our questions for today. So now we're going to go through all of them one more time each, just in case you missed any or you needed them repeated. We're going to go over them. All right. So question number 1 was our Passover question. And the question was, where is the world's largest Seder held? Question number 2 was an Easter question. And the question was, how many U.S. states recognize Good Friday as a national holiday? Question number 3, which soft drink company makes a kosher batch each year? Question number 4, which composer introduced the Easter bonnet to America? Question number 5, what does Mayot Shatim mean? Mayot Shatim. Question number 6, what object was tossed between choir boys during medieval times? Question number 7, what is the name of the book read at the Passover Seder? Question number 8, which president hosted the first White House Easter egg roll? Question number 9, which Bible book contains the story of Passover? And question number 10, what does the Easter egg represent? All right, so those were all of our questions for today. If you'd like to play Trivia with Emily, send your answers to Sperry Cecilia, that's my boss Cece, we're here in her office today, at windsor@celebration.com. And make sure you put in the subject line, Trivia with Emily. It'll help if you put it in all caps, so it'll catch your attention and she'll know exactly what your email is regarding. Now, the first person to submit all correct answers will win a prize. All right. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you had a fun time. I hope maybe you learned something. If not, I hope you come again next time. Thank you very much, and have a good day, and a happy Passover, and a happy Easter. Bye now.